Hello everybody, today we're checking out Eternower. This is a game I had played before a little while back, some weeks ago, I don't know, maybe it was a couple months. But from what I understand, there's been a good amount of development going on, and so we're going to give it another shot and see what's different and what kind of feedback we can give. Fun fact, this is actually the first time I have ever actually spent money to playtest a video game before. I actually spent one whole dollar on this, so you're welcome, buddy. I'm putting that stimulus check to good use. But yeah, if anyone is curious, this game actually is available on Steam. It's on itch.io for $1. And from what I understand, the developer kind of is kind of doing an early access kind of thing without actually using early access. So his intention is to keep developing and updating the game for a while, but you can buy it right now in its current state. So it's just $1. We're gonna give this a shot. Last time I didn't really know quite what I was doing, but I think there's some elements that I didn't notice because of the way the UI was a little bit obtuse. But apparently the developer kind of, he watched the video and was aware of those things, so maybe we'll see some improvements and such. I've heard that there's a lot different, so let's go ahead and jump into this. I'm talking for long enough. We're going to go ahead and we got this windowed. I'm going to try and Alt-Enter. That works, okay. You want English. Alright, so it looks about the same as I remember from last time. By Rokus, that's the developer. We've got options here. We got video, other, volume, language. I think escape key works for back. That's nice. Looks like we can use right click to go back as well. Play dilemma. I don't remember this, so I don't know what dilemma is. It's a very all right. Still very minimalistic in terms of the UI and everything, which means it's kind of cramming a lot into a little, which can be make things a little trickier to kind of figure out, wrap your head around. But looks like we have some information if we hover over this: health, speed, bounty, whatever that means, pace, and enemies. Let's go ahead and click on dilemma. These numbers are kind of interesting. Okay, so the first one has a 3. These have a 0, and then this has a 1. I don't know what that means exactly. I think you can hover over the towers, or yeah, I don't really want to assume because I don't know what these numbers mean. Okay, so I believe that these are the towers from playing last time. It's not really that clear, but or I guess it's called a fort. It looks like up there it says fort. This one says spreads. This one says grows. I don't think those words are there before, so I guess that's a one-word description. It's better than none. Spreads and grows. So I think grows means it's more powerful, as in stronger, I'm assuming, and then spreads means you can kind of add more on top of it, or like you can build more attached to them, kind of how I remember it from before. I don't know which is better or whatever. I think we had more success with this one last time. And then we get to build this wherever we want. We have 10 lives. It looks like my cursor disappeared for a moment there. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, so it looks like there's a bug there. So if you'll notice, you can see my cursor until I hover over this, and then it's kind of replaced. The cursor is hidden, and then we have the green box. So I think for some reason when I went off of, yeah, see, I just did it again, so you can see. Hopefully it's showing in the capture that my cursor's disappeared. For some reason, it just never quite left this little interactive box here. But from what I understand, we're supposed to try to make this line as long as we can, kind of, I guess. With hopefully the tower is kind of in range. I don't know what the range is. Oh, I think it's 1 square around tower, like 1 grid space. So yeah, to start with, I don't really know what would be a good choice over another, which is kind of the problem I had when I played last time, but maybe we'll figure out more as we go. So we have actions now. We have tempo and start. Tempo looks like can go up and down. Now this is kind of triggering me a bit. It looks like we can do, I think the default was like 0.5x, 0.50x, but I can't actually set it to that. It's like, it's like always, I mean, it was something around this, right? Or maybe it was this, I don't even know what value it was. Oh, okay. All right, so this is confusing. So when you click on it, it seems like where you click on it is where it starts showing the tempo value. So if I click down here, it kind of just kind of defaults to that value. What I would kind of expect is that it would have like its own stored value, and then when you click on it, wherever that value was, it would just kind of start there, and then you could kind of drag it left and right rather than it being tied to the absolute position of the pointer here. So it's a little weird because it also means you can't know what it was set to, and that might matter. I mean, it's annoying in a sense, but it also might actually matter rather than just feeling bad. Because if you had some value, like you set it to some value, I'm just kind of going on a hypothetical here because I don't know the game that well, but you set this to some value and you kind of liked that value, and then you went back and you were like, maybe you just want to even look at it or something. Then just opening this, it automatically changes whatever value you had it set to. So if you didn't have like the exact number in memory, then you wouldn't know it anymore. So that's kind of weird. I'm just gonna guess that this is the speed that the little enemies move, and I'm gonna guess that it gives you like a bonus if you set it higher, or you can set it lower if you're less confident, that kind of thing. It's kind of a cool concept to think about, just having that degree of control. I was getting kind of triggered, like thinking I set it to 0.5. It's just kind of a rounding error of sorts. It's not even an error, it's just rounding in action. But you can do 1x, so that's the important part, I guess. Go up to 4x. It doesn't snap. Like there's a limited number of values, so it's not like, but I mean, you could call it a snap, but it's a very fine snap, I guess. But I guess we're gonna try and leave that on 1. It also would be nice to know what, like I don't know what this is set to, so if I set this to something and then I didn't remember what I set it to, I can't check. There's no way to check what it's set to currently. So if I click on start, I don't even know what this is set to unless I am certain that I set it exactly where I needed it to be. Because if I click on this again, it automatically changes the value, so it's kind of weird. Let's go ahead and click on start. Oh, that actually hides. Alright, so we earn 1 gold for every guy we kill. Might be nice to know like the number of creatures that's gonna come, unless it's always the same. Oh, okay, so that's under enemies here. Health. Okay, so his health. This must be. Okay, these values must be for the enemies then, which is not clear to me, except that I wouldn't expect the health, for instance, to apply to me as the player, because I also have this which says lives, which I assume is for the player. So if we have lives and we have health, and they're 2 different things, and I'm going to guess health is for the enemies, which I can then kind of assume that the rest of these numbers are for as well. So I'm guessing speed is 1. But then I don't know what the difference between speed and pace would be, because they seem like similar concepts. Then bounty, I assume, is how much you earn for each kill, and then the enemies is 10. Which is slightly weird wording, because if all of these are describing enemies, and then you have one that has the word enemies, then that's kind of weird, but yeah, so it's a little bit not I mean, if you figured it all out, I'm sure it's not that hard to, I'm sure it is functional, but not everything that clear, I would say. I don't really like the way that checking these values hides all of this, because you can't, like, while things are happening, you can't look at these numbers, and I think that's kind of annoying, unless you just don't care what's happening, like if you're really confident or something. And it's also kind of weird because while that's happening, you probably, I mean, based on what I've seen so far, it doesn't seem like you're doing a lot of actions while the enemies are marching through. And that might change, but if that is the case, then you're kind of sitting and waiting, and it's not that you don't want to see what's happening, but you might want to like look at the other numbers and think about things while that's going on, and you can't really do that. You can only do one or the other, at least at one time. So all right, lives, bounty. All right, so this is confusing. So I remember the developer talking, and this is kind of cheating because, it's not from the perspective of someone who hasn't heard what I heard about the developer talking about it, but I've heard the developer talking about being able to adjust like how the enemies grow stronger or something like that between rounds, which I think is what we're doing here. I don't think that would be clear to someone else. The other thing that's confusing to me is the lives plus 40. I was assuming lives applies to me as the player, so plus 40 sounds like a positive. Like, I don't know why I wouldn't want... Oh, okay, I guess these are both positive then. Because bounty is... I don't know why that didn't click with me. I just saw the enemy and I thought it was something negative. So I guess these are both positive. They both say fortune. Even though this is dilemma, so I guess the dilemma is having a choice, kind of. Okay, so these are both positive things I can choose. Lives plus 40 or enemy bounty plus 1. I guess we want the second one. The first one, this feels to me like sort of an easy mode rather than like a requirement for progressing further. Like the idea that if you're losing lives, then you're kind of failing in a sense. So it kind of seems like the wrong choice in a way. Which is kind of weird. That's like a really subtle concept, but like it's hard to imagine this being like a correct choice in the sense of like if you're actually good at the game and you really knew what you're doing. Yeah, I could kind of imagine there could possibly be a way that you could like use this resource, like if you consider this a resource rather than a like a safety net kind of thing. I think that's kind of the root of it, is the idea of a resource versus like a safety net or a something to save you if you screw up. So I would expect that a resource would be more valuable to someone who's actually good, whereas something to save you would be maybe more valuable to someone who wasn't that good. But it kind of gives that sense of, right and a wrong choice, like this, choose this if you're a scrub, that kind of thing. And I'm not sure if that's actually the case here or not. I don't know if lives could be used as a resource, but that's the impression I get, and I don't know if that's intended. That could be the intended way of thinking about it. But I'm gonna go ahead and click on bounty. It sounds kind of juicy. Tempo again. Start. So I think the A and the D are like hotkeys or something for. Let me try that out. Yeah. Oh, this is still tied to the mouse though. So that seems kind of pointless. To even have a keyboard key for this action because it's still tied to the mouse. I might as well just click on it, right? I guess we... Okay, so another thing that... Right. Okay. So this isn't. I wouldn't have figured this out if I didn't experience this from the last time I played. But I almost forgot that you can actually you can click on these and then do other things. So in this case, we can cause it to spread. So that's how I'm going to spend my gold. Or I can destroy it, which I remember seemed to be a very bad option. I don't know what the point of that is yet. And yeah, again, I guess we just try to make this line longer somehow. I guess. Just click start again. So far it doesn't seem very much different apart from there was that dilemma thing where I got to choose a, in this case, sort of a bonus. I thought it was. Okay, so this time it still says fortune, but I think these are negative. So enemy pace to 2 is a negative. Enemies fly sounds like a negative. I don't know how flight works in this game. From my experience with tower defense games, it's usually you need like specific towers that can hit airborne enemies, but I don't know how that works here. I don't know if these towers can hit airborne enemies or not, so like if I choose this, will these just fail? Like I don't really have any way of knowing that except to actually try it out, I guess, and see what happens. It's a little weird that I have to keep clicking on this if I hover over something else and come back. I'm gonna go ahead and select this because oh, okay, that's just showing that they're flying. That's kind of interesting. I'm just gonna see what happens. Again, we can spread these. We have 20 gold to work with. So apparently if you make this, they'll actually go the whole line. They won't skip any part of the line just because it's a dead end, which is interesting. If I put it down here, it has kind of the same effect, but here it looks like this tower wouldn't actually hit anything, whereas here it would. I don't know if this is worthwhile, but I'm going to try it. Why not? And I think we can just spread off of any of these, so I can build one more. Oh, so the break function, this, I guess if you end up in a case where one of the forts is no longer actually dealing damage because you moved the path away from it, I suppose that would be the time you would want to use this function. Okay, and I think last time, one of the things that really messed me up last time was I don't think you could actually build off any of these. I think you could only build off the very last one you made, and I don't know if that was even intended or if that was like a bug or something. But it seemed to kind of what's the word? Kind of fatally restrict the whole game, so it seemed to sort of almost break the game in a way, but I think now that it seems we can branch off anywhere, it seems to make a lot more sense, and especially being able to destroy, like last time you could only destroy the last one you built, so there was never a reason why you would want to do that. But now it seems to make a lot more sense, so I'm gonna even do this, I guess. Is that a good thing? Is this a good thing? I don't know. Oh, okay, so if I want to so what might be nice, assuming there aren't any factors that I'm not aware of yet, if I choose this one and choose to spread off of it, I have to, of course, build adjacent to this one, but like, I feel like I should be able to build adjacent to the other ones here because it's the same thing as like clicking over here and then clicking this and then doing it here. But it's just these extra clicks I'm going through. So assuming that there aren't extra factors, like you're not upgrading a specific tower or something like that, it seems to me like it would make sense to kind of allow this to be placed anywhere, because that's kind of, you're kind of doing sort of a trial and error with seeing the visual of how the path changes and stuff, but to kind of have to go through and do all these extra clicks makes it a lot more bothersome to go through all of this. So yeah, see, this wouldn't be good because this tower I'm adding would be useless even though it's lengthening the pathway here. So I'm going to put this right here. These are flying now, so I'm not sure what that means. I'm just going to go ahead and click on start, I guess. I don't know about... I guess we should experiment with tempo just to actually understand what it's doing. I'm going to try and setting it to 50. Speed. Pace is 5. So before I chose flying enemies over the pace increase, I believe is why. Or the speed increase, I think. Was that what happened? Yeah, I think it was a speed increase. So that's why there's still 1, but I'm going to try... I don't know if I should put it lower. I don't want to put it too low because I'm assuming there's some kind of a downside. So let's go ahead and start. I mean, they look pretty slow, which I'm assuming is because of that. So, okay, they're just going between these nodes. I think that's what's happening. So that's what flying is. That's really interesting, actually. I couldn't have... I don't know if this is I guess this is some kind of a visualization of what's happening with this line that's kind of appearing right here. First I thought it was like a bug, but I guess that kind of makes sense. So that's actually really clever. I don't know if that exists in some other game, but I wouldn't have thought of that, just making them fly between these nodes and ignoring the added length. So now all of the enemies are flying, which means that it actually apparently it doesn't matter how long I make the pathway here, which I don't think is going to change now, because I'm assuming that's a permanent thing, and there aren't like multiple enemy types, I don't believe, so I guess that means I have to change the whole playstyle, which means now I have to kind of assume this path and try to just load up all the towers around it, I guess. So that's interesting. Enemy health plus 10, enemy speed plus 1. 10 sounds like a lot. Current health is 12. I don't know how much the speed affects it. I still don't know what the... I'm going to go with speed. I don't know if it's better or not. I still don't know what exactly the tempo is doing. For all I know, it could be like purely visual, right? That actually would make sense with the word tempo, actually. I just don't know. So if I like max this out, is it just going to go through fast, but it's not actually going to affect what happens? That's my current theory. I don't want to start yet because I haven't built anything, but I only got 10 gold that last time. Bounty is 1. Oh, okay. So okay, so this is interesting. So I remember not the last round, but I think the round before that, I had a bounty of 2. Because it was one of the things I had selected, but now this is bounty 1, so that makes me think that maybe what you select before the round starts is only for that one round, rather than it being permanent thing. So I guess that means that this time I'm not going to have flying enemies. I'm guessing. I also don't know how these numbers are changing necessarily. I assume health goes up just per level or something. In this case, speed is 2, which was because that was what I chose. Bounty is back to 1. Pace is 5. I don't know what pace is. And enemies is still 10. Right, 10 enemies, and I only got 10 gold. Okay, so again, that's my current theory. So I'm doing a lot of assumptions. The game hasn't really taught me stuff. I'm just having to kind of figure out a lot on my own, which isn't necessarily very intuitive, but I think I'm thinking that's how this stuff is working currently. So I'm gonna go ahead, go back to trying to lengthen this. I don't think this is technically longer, but it's another path. What about this? Is that longer? I think that's longer. Because of the dead end. Actually, I don't know. This is one of those things I feel like I would have to like count all of the individual squares. Like I'm actually gonna try. So that little dead end leg, it has 4 squares, which I think amounts to like 7 in terms of going there and back. Like the length of 7, something like that. The edit. I think the length of the other thing is 11, which would be 18. And then the previous. I'm leaning close to the screen, which is why I'm sounding further away. Okay, so I counted like 16, something like that. 16 for the previous length, which would be 2 less than 18. I don't know if there is. Those numbers are quite right. I might have got some of the edge cases off there, but I'm gonna go ahead and try this, I guess. Oh, actually, you know what? Now that I clicked on that, I regret it because I didn't get it. I didn't get it up against this the path here, so this isn't actually going to do any damage. And unfortunately, I can't undo that. So I did that while focusing on other things. So that was kind of dumb, but I guess it won't be enough to kill me. I can do this, but I would only get 5 back, which is half what I spent. So, all right, I'm gonna crank the tempo up to 4 again. We're gonna click start. All right, we're getting it annihilated. All right, so I don't think that was a. Oh, that's. Still don't know what these numbers are on the nodes. I like the little guy, but I don't think that had anything to do with the tempo. I think that was just for some reason. My configuration here was a failure. This guy's really plowed through me, but like it doesn't seem like it was even close. I know I screwed this up, but even if I didn't, I'm wondering if they would have still gotten through. Where they have fractional values, I'm assuming that's the health, and why some got away with more than others. It's kind of weird. I can't click on these anymore. I kind of want to know like what the attack power of these is. I don't know of a way to do that. Alright. I'll try this again. I'll try to play a little fast this time. Not having to talk as much. Hovering over this doesn't show the thing currently, so that's interesting. I guess because I'm building. I don't really know where to put this. Let's try right here. Why not? Alright, we got 3 health, 1 speed, 1 bounty, pace is 5 enemies. The tempo again, I don't know exactly, but I'm assuming it's just showing the visualization slower or faster. I think we just have to click start. Oh, I can actually do this while. Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, okay. So it's interesting you can do that while it's happening. I actually like that, but yeah, it's good to know that it doesn't actually affect the outcome. Alright, enemy bounty +1 or lives +40 as before, but I assume it's only for the 1 round, right? So this, the top value, this actually seems kind of pointless because it seems really unlikely that you're going to actually... I mean, there's only 10 enemies to begin with. Which, I mean, if you completely failed to kill all of them, then that would save you, but it seems just very unlikely, so I'm going to go ahead and do this again. And then we want to actually build another one of these, which I wish there was some kind of... I wish there was a clearer sort of... what would be the word? Like a stage in which you're building, because like after you choose a thing, then it's kind of like this is presented. The actions box here is kind of presented as how you control the game, so it's kind of weird that you're not working within this box. You have to like actually go out and click on this and do that, and it's not I guess phase is the word I was looking for. There's no like building phase as presented, where it's kind of making it clear to you that you should build stuff now. You just have to kind of know that you're supposed to do it at this point in time. And so it's a little weird that way. Let's go ahead and try to build another one. Sure. And then 0 gold. Alright, we got the tempo up high. Let's put that to like this, I guess. Oh, we can... Oh, I was going to say we can pause. If I click on that, I don't know if it'll end instantly or not, or if it'll like show a dialogue like, are you sure? Hopefully it does the are you sure thing, because it can be kind of easy to like right click and click on that kind of without thinking about it. But yeah, I noticed there was a pause function. I'm annoyed that this keeps changing when I go away here. Enemies fly and paste to this. At this point in the game, this sounds a lot nicer. Assuming again that these are only for one round, which I believe is true based on the bounty thing. This sounds a lot more dangerous because they're literally... Oh, wait, the pace is 5. So that's not speed, that's pace. So I don't know what pace is. It sounds like a lower number would be better. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and click on that, see if I can figure out what it is. But we have 20 gold to work with, so let's try to figure something out here. So yeah, we want to put the tower in a place where it's going to actually deal damage. So if I do it like here, it won't deal any damage. Whereas here it would, interestingly. If I do this and then this, it'll go back the other side. But I could snug this over here. And that's kind of nice, I guess. Could do it like this, I don't know. I don't really know what's best here. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's try and figure out what the pace does now that it's at 2 instead of 5. Oh, okay, so I guess that's... Oh my gosh, they're plowing through. Okay, so apparently it's the rate, it's how close together they are. Which seems to have a big effect on things, because I'm super dead. Yeah, so it's super easy to fail. I don't know what I could have done better. I could have chosen the flying option, of course. I mean, it just seems strange that that would be the deciding factor, right? Like, obviously, you want it to have some kind of an effect, but the game... Like, it kind of makes it feel as if the game is about that, you know, if that was actually... If I chose flying and I didn't die like this. Like, I don't really expect the game to be about that choice at the start. I just expect that to be, like, a small element of it. Whereas, in this case, it seems to be the only thing that's making me fail or lose. Now, what I'm realizing now that I didn't realize before is that this particular tower is not contributing, or forward, or whatever it is it's not contributing to the damage output. So I didn't realize I made that mistake. And you know, that could have been the difference between failing or winning or passing this round as well. In fact, the flying enemies actually could have been a good thing in this case, which I didn't think about before because of that fact. So that's interesting, but yeah, it seems so easy to fail. I'm gonna try this one more time. Don't know. There must be a better way. That's what I don't really know yet is the what exactly is the better way here. To not end up failing. We got lives or bounty again. This seems much better. We want to spend the gold before we press start, or we're probably just gonna die. So again, we want every tower to contribute if possible. I'm liking the sound effects for some reason. So again, this seems extremely dangerous, whereas this seems actually not necessarily a bad thing. I would assume if you had like this all full of towers and the path was just winding like mad, that the flight would be a lot worse then, but in this early stage it seems like it's not only is it not bad, but it might actually be good for you. So that's interesting concept. This seems like a good placement. And then I can build another one. This is not so good. So I'm trying to keep track of every tower when I place a new one rather than just the new one that I'm placing, so I don't end up screwing up another one. It's actually a really easy mistake to make. So you can see right now if I do this one, then the second tower from the top would no longer be contributing. So it seems like a bad option. Same with this one, like the one to the left would no longer be. I don't know how many options I can even make that would guarantee. This one looks like the best choice, actually. Now that I've kind of figured out how big of a problem that could be. Yeah, so that looks like it's going to be probably the biggest thing that's going to make a difference for me right now is just making sure that all the towers are contributing, at least partially. Because it definitely seems like as soon as you make like any inefficient, like slightly less efficient move, then the enemies just kind of plow through and you lose. I think, yeah, we have 0 gold, so my gosh, they're slow. I actually forgot about the flight when I was considering everything else, but that's okay, it worked out. I don't really know. I'm going to try the plus 10 health, I think. So when it comes to speed and health, I guess without knowing for sure, the assumption would be that doubling the speed and doubling the health would be roughly equivalent, or if not exactly equivalent. And I think there might be like little elements of kind of timing, sort of edge cases that make that not quite true because of the way that the towers kind of periodically do damage, but there's no way for me to really know like whether doubling speed or doubling health would be better or worse. Like I don't really have information available to me that would tell me that. In this case, adding plus 10 health isn't quite doubling it, so that makes it seem like maybe that's a slightly less painful option. just based on that alone. I mean, I don't really have anything else to go off of, so I'm going to choose that one. And then we got 10 gold to work with. Again, we want to, I think I can build this right here. One thing that occurs to me, it might be nice if you could just kind of click on this and then place immediately without having to select this. Assuming there won't be any more different things you could do. Assuming these will be the only two options in the future and in the current state of the game, I guess. Obviously you want to have this option to be able to remove it, but most of the time you're just doing this, so it might be nice if that's just kind of the default. You just kind of click on that and then we'll just save you the extra click down there, and then you can place this. So this makes a really crazy long. Oh, I guess because it's going against the edge of the. Oh, okay. So this isn't something I had figured out before now, but because this is going against the edge of the level here, the square. But they still have to go through every one of these nodes. So I did this inadvertently, but apparently if you completely wall off one of these nodes, then they have to do like a really long trip up to touch this one and then go back. So this placing it up here, this tower won't contribute with damage, but it'll make this a lot longer, so that seems to be a really good option, I think. Yeah, okay, so that's kind of like, I feel like I finally figured out something that's kind of substantial about just how to optimize the game. So that's kind of cool. So it seems like you're trying to wall off these nodes in some fashion. So that's good to know. That would be, I mean, the developer seems to be kind of averse to any sort of tutorial elements, but if you were to actually try to teach the player how to play the game, I think this kind of information would be very helpful. So I think I'm not really sure if like one of these positions is going to be theoretically better. Actually, I have no idea. I'm just going to try this position right here, and I think it'll be worth it. It's hard for me to judge the value added of the tower doing damage versus only making the path longer. I don't know how to evaluate those two options, but I'm going to guess that this is a good thing just because it's quite a bit longer and all of these towers are still doing something. This one only has 4 grid spaces engaged, but this one has quite a bit, and this one has quite a bit, and this one has quite a bit, so seems pretty good. 0 gold. Let's go ahead and click start and set this to some high-ish number. Oh gosh. Alright, for some reason alright, that's confusing. So for some reason one of them got through. I guess it's just somehow down to the rate at which the towers work, which is just kind of weird the way that works. Okay. But the other thing that's interesting to me is the fact that I think only one enemy got through, but I lost 2 lives. So either that's a bug or there's some element of like how strong the enemies are or whatever that isn't being shown to me, because I don't see a thing here. The other thing is interesting is that this is, I guess, the round or whatever is just predetermined to be flying, because I'm noticing this guy's flying. You hover over this, it says flying. So it's very subtle. Like I wouldn't have noticed unless I looked at this guy and noticed the way he was kind of spinning around. It's not made that obvious. Oh, you can choose to make them walk though. That's interesting. Okay, so we got another choice of positives. Make them walk or enemy bounty +1. So in this case, my wall is going to be ignored. They're just gonna kind of go straight through, which suggests that. All right, health is 15. Speed is 1. Health is going up every round, from what I can tell. The bounty +1 sounds really nice, but I don't know. I don't really like the idea of one of these choices being guaranteed death and the other one being survival. I mean, I guess you want it to affect the gameplay somehow, and I guess you could have one option being, you know, the correct choice, quote unquote, being an element of the game, and that makes sense, of course. But I think it should be like the consequence should be a little bit reduced here somehow. Like, you make a bad choice, it won't just kill you outright. So I'm worried that if I don't make them walk, then I'm going to lose. But the bounty is like really juicy, so I don't know. I could try to just kind of, let's see if I do this, for instance. You know, any of these placements. This will make the pathway longer. I think this is the longest. This is technically the same. Wait. No. I think this is the longest. It's a little hard to wrap your head around what would technically be longer or not. But if I place this here, it'll make the pathway longer, but it will also do more damage to flying enemies. So it's interesting that you can... Oh. Wait. Oh, that's super weird. Okay. Okay, it's a little confusing the way you can, like, before you choose the dilemma, you can build a tower, which is a good thing, but it's the way the menus are kind of going back and forth is confusing me. Alright. I guess I'm just gonna try to see if I can manage to not die to flying enemies that have 15 health. And you can't go back on that after you choose it, so you gotta choose carefully. So these might just completely destroy me. Oh, we're doing good. Alright, that's cool. So it seems we chose the correct option. Yeah, and it seems like there's a massive difference in what you get out of each option. So in this case, if I just chose walk, the outcome would have been I wouldn't have lost any lives or anything. I just would have gotten half as much gold, which is like a massive decrease, right? Like that's a whole other tower. So there was very clearly a correct choice, and it has like a massive swing of like, if you choose this one, you get like something really good, whereas if you don't, then you get something kind of bad. Now I don't know what the heck this is. We got doubt and panic, dreadful and fleeting. Alright, that was a little weird. You notice for a moment there I had clicked on this and it still said dilemma there. Something to do with... Okay, yeah, so I think if I right click to go into the menu and then I left click, or is it just... Okay, yeah, so if I leave the menu while I'm hovering over one of the towers, Then I left click. The menu doesn't open up correctly here. So this seems to be a bug. But yeah, I don't know what the heck these options are, so I'm just gonna have to choose one at random. Or, I don't know if I should build in anything first. I don't think so. Just doubt or panic. I mean, panic sounds worse, right? than doubt. But this is fleeting and dreadful. I don't know. Oh, this is fort. On the top there. So maybe this has something to do with the fort type. This is a dread fort, right? That's what I was wondering originally when I found that other bug there. I was gonna see if this was dread plus. I guess the plus is just when it's selected for some reason. Oh, you can see the speed and damage when you hover over it here. Which I didn't figure out before now. So I guess this gives you a different type of fort or something, but I already have a dread fort, so I guess I have to choose this one just to know what's gonna happen. Building doubt. Okay, so I'm building doubt now. Oh, what the heck is this? Wait a minute. Is that why is that happening? Is that because of the building, or is that just how? What the heck? That definitely does not seem like the same behavior. Like in certain positions like right here, this is exactly what I would have expected from building the previous forts or whatever, but these extra branches are like nutty. Yes, I don't know how this works at all, or what's going on with this. I'm gonna stick this right here. Okay, that's definitely a new thing. I don't know if these weird extra path branching things are a bug or if that's somehow associated with this type of fort. Which I can apparently convert. Dread 25G. Doubt. So does that mean it can build one like these ones do, but it costs a lot more for some reason? Convert, and then at the top, the word fortune again, which is confusing to me, but I guess I can convert it to a dread, but I don't know why I would want to do that. Because this seems more powerful. It has 2 speed and 2 damage. As this has 1 speed and 1 damage, so I don't really know. I don't understand this stuff. Very weird, the pathing situation here. Okay, so we're still getting stuff even building the dread. So I'm assuming it's not associated with this particular structure. I don't know why it's branching so much now. I also don't know that it's even good. Like a lot of these areas are still outside of the range of the forts, so I don't know like what I'm doing anymore with this stuff. Even if it's longer. Yeah, that makes me wonder, like maybe this is just a bug because these extra little things of path don't seem to actually functionally change anything here. That's weird. Alright, so technically we want to like try to wall off these nodes as much as we can, right? I'm assuming you can't just make a solid line from the top to the bottom because they couldn't get through. Now I'm wondering what happens if you try to do that. And I guess you have to keep in mind also the possibility of flying enemies, so it can make sense to kind of try to put forts that are along the flight path here. Which this guy is not, unfortunately. It kind of makes me wish he was. I don't really know. I've been staring at this for so long, I don't know what would be a good thing to attempt from here. Oh, so the interesting thing, if you do build a dread off of this, is that you can keep building more off of that one. So, like in this case, if I wanted to build down here more, I would have to start, like if I wanted to save. I mean, it would still cost, it might still cost less, but I would have to like build another one here and then build one here and etc. But it might be, in theory, cost effective to just spend 25 to build off of this guy, I guess. Still doesn't seem that likely, but I guess we want to maximize the area which this particular one is doing damage because that one's so strong. So maybe we want to kind of leave that area alone. I don't know where to put anything right now, because I don't want to move the path away from other towers. See, this seems kind of pointless because it's not really longer and it's moving it away from the other tower, so I'm not really getting much value out of it. So I don't know what to do with this one. I can get a little value out of this particular position, I think. But there's this guy kind of hanging out up here. That doesn't do much, but it does a little bit. So yeah, the ability to spread is definitely valuable, so I can understand why this costs more to spread off of. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Kind of want to do this. And it's really, the more towers you get, it's like a lot more clicking back and forth to keep examining the different options. This is at least interesting. And if I place this, oh, I can actually build two. So I think if I place this here, and then I can actually push this like back towards these other towers up here with another. Oh, actually, no, it's not going to work that way, because I'm thinking I can like place one up here to push it to the right, but it has to be adjacent within one grid space of the other existing ones, so that won't quite work. But this is quite a bit of extra length, it appears, which would I guess maybe not add that much value in the end. I don't know. But like if I can move this one to the left, I actually can remove this one, so that's interesting to think about. Maybe that's actually worthwhile. I'm just going to try it. Just kind of YOLO things here a bit. To make some big decisions. And this, if I delete it, I think Yeah. Makes it a much shorter path. So that's an important one. But I can still build one more. Health 23, oh my goodness. That's a lot. It's a lot of health. But these will be doing a lot more damage, it looks like. From my adjustment there, it seems like it was a good choice, I hope. And I think this would be a good choice because I think you want to kind of get close to the nodes so you can kind of wall them off more. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one, finally make a decision. Hopefully that's okay. They have a lot of health. Oh, he's not doing damage. What is this guy doing? Okay, so I don't know what this guy does anymore. It says he has 2 speed and 2 damage, which is double of each stat versus the dread, but it wasn't, at least it wasn't visually doing anything, so I don't know. Right clicking on it doesn't do anything. That's interesting. I don't know what this is for at this point. How is it supposed to work? I'm hoping it's not a troll tower because it's called Doubt or something. I guess we'll have to keep playing though. We got lives plus 50, path node damage plus 1. Does that mean, what are these numbers? I don't even know. We get 31. Oh, that's the health. Alright, so the next round is 31 health. That's a lot of health. I don't know why this one says 1. Does that have something to do with why I lost 2 lives from one enemy going through? I don't know. But does that mean that the nodes themselves will do damage? Of course, I've been assuming that these options are only for 1 turn, so I've assumed, of course, that giving myself extra lives would go away after that turn. But I'm not even sure about that. I guess there's only one way to find out. I'm going to go ahead and give myself the lives. That is a lot of health. And 50 is quite a lot, so that should make me a good bit safer, especially with only 10 enemies. I should be fine whether or not the extra lives stay around after this turn. So I think that means I can just tank everything, but the thing is I want to actually make sure I make money, right, to be able to kill as many of these as I can to prepare for the next rounds. So I can hopefully start messing with this. I mean, that's a good placement, but okay, so this thing says it has 2 speed and 2 damage, but didn't appear to do anything. So I don't know if you have to convert it into a dread before it actually does something. And then it'll like have the... I'm just gonna do it. Okay. So now it's just a normal dread. So it doesn't have the added speed and damage as the previous thing. So I just spent money, and I don't understand that other tower, but wait, did it actually give me gold? Okay, so I think I might have had 15 gold before, and then it gave me 10. I thought it was actually a cost of 10 gold, but I think it might have been plus 10 gold instead of actually paying 10 gold. I don't know why it just didn't quite register with me. I'm not I'm not sure. I can't rewind to see what I just did. If it is the case that it actually gave me gold, what might be worthwhile is changing the color of the text here. So in cases where it's positive, you might make it green, that kind of thing. You can make the other one red or whatever, or just leave that white and make the added one green font, something like that. That kind of visual makes it a lot easier to not make that mistake. But yeah, I'm kind of annoyed by that tower. It seemed like a fancy new tower, which is kind of exciting when you've only been playing with one type of tower the whole time. To get something new, and then the fact that it didn't seem to work, and then I just ended up just converting it to the same thing I already had here. This is getting really wacky. I think these are some bugs, though. The extra branches that are kind of appearing here. But I'm wondering what happens if I keep building down. I guess there's only one way to find out. There does also seem to be some value in kind of lining up the towers, I think. Like this one, as you remember, I moved this one over to the left and it enabled these to be a lot more functional in dealing damage, rather than kind of offsetting them left and right, I think. So that seems to be a concept in play here. Oh my gosh, the pathing is getting so weird. I don't even know anymore. So I'm thinking I'm just going to put this right here, and then I guess they're going to go back, like they're going to go past this tower twice. I think. So that's kind of cool. Especially if this was like a really good tower or something, but it's just a dread, which I guess is just whatever it is. The other thing was trying to build this out again, which that unfortunately removes some of this part right here. This tower is damaging. I don't know. Let's go ahead and continue with this idea. 31 health. My gosh, they're surviving a lot. What the heck? Oh my gosh. See, I don't know what the pathing is going to do anymore. I thought they were going to ignore this part and take this path, but I guess I'm assuming still that this is some kind of a bug. But they apparently are not taking the path that I hoped they would. Oh, you can. Oh, that's interesting. So if you hover over one of these, it shows like a path between certain nodes. Like this one shows. If I hover over this one, it shows the path to the previous one, apparently. But if I hover over this one, it shows the... Oh, that is the previous one. Kind of. What the heck? This is so confusing. Okay, yeah, so this is getting pretty weird. It is interesting that you can hover to see the paths, and that seems useful in this situation to kind of pick apart what's actually happening here. But they apparently go. confusing that the one, it shows you the path backwards from the one you hover over, because I would kind of expect it to go the other direction. So that's kind of making it confusing. So if I want to trace the path that they're going to take, I kind of start here, then I go to the next one. I can see the path backwards. I can go to the next one. I can see the path backwards. But from here, I don't know what counts as the next one. Like, do they make this entire path all the way up to here, and then they try and go back to here? Is that what they do? And then from here, they go forward to here? Maybe that's what's happening. But I never thought of that before. You just kind of expect that they would, even if they do them out of order, they would kind of go up and down in here and then maybe come back and then go back up this way and that kind of thing. But I guess they go to each one in order, even if they, like, even though they cross over this node first, they still go all the way up to here and then go back up to this one. I'm guessing that's it now. So there's a lot of details of this game that are just not obvious. Seems to take a lot of kind of experimenting to figure out. So I think there's a lot of stuff that could be taught to the player. It would just make a lot more sense to just kind of tell the player what's going on about things like this. So again, enemy health plus 15 or pace to 2. I don't know. Plus 15 health is a lot, but assuming my previous analysis was correct, it does seem like they didn't get very far the last round, so I'm kind of wondering if I could survive the plus 15 health pretty good. The pace is something that's really hard to understand. The how much it adds to the difficulty or whatever, like the value of it. It's obvious that the enemies are a lot tighter together, and that seems to make it harder to kill them all, I guess. I don't even know why. I mean, just in some way it makes things worse for you, but I don't know how to apply a value to that to make a judgment here. So I'm gonna go ahead with the health. I got 15 gold. Again, I don't know if I should try to like do something over here. I could try to keep going down like this. It doesn't seem like a bad option, especially since they're kind of going, I assume, all the way up and then back and then this kind of thing. Although there's a lot of the time here where they're not taking any damage. What's can I do? This seems like a good option, actually. This seems really good. Because I think at some point they're going to go, like, right here, they're going to go up to here. Whereas if we block that off, then they have to, like, go all the way around this, and then they have to go all the way around and back, and that kind of thing. So this seems like a really good choice, I think, right here. Oh, that kind of stinks. Okay, so it's weird. I don't quite understand these extra branching paths. Like, why does it do that instead of wrapping around again? I don't know if this is, again, it could still be a bug for all I know. I don't know if it's a bug or if it's a sort of a limiting factor to prevent the player from creating setups that are too OP or something. But for instance, going down like this rather than going down like this and like this and like this, it's exactly the same length, but for whatever reason, the pathing chooses to go this way for at least part of it, which of course means you don't get the benefit of doing all the damage here. So yeah, I don't know if that's some kind of an intentional limiting factor, but it's kind of unpredictable. let's go ahead and start. That's right, they have tons of health, so we're gonna have to see what happens here. Oh, I still have all the lives, so my previous assumption that everything you choose is only for one round didn't appear to be consistently correct. So that kind of inconsistency is one of those things that's pretty confusing. Because I had reason to believe what I originally believed, even though it ended up to not be true, so... so another thing I'm curious about is if the forts can only attack one enemy at a time. Because that would explain more why the pacing matters so much, I suppose. Would be another thing to know. And with the pace or the speed. Pace or speed? And I don't know how to weigh these against each other. I have no idea. Double the speed or less than half the pace. I guess I'll go with speed because that's the only thing I have to go on is that one is doubled and the other one is like slightly more than doubled in a sense. Level 9. 47 health. Speed 2. Seems like it's going to be a bit rough because they're going to take like half the damage, I think. Although I've been doing pretty good, I assume. I mean, they're not getting close to the end, but... yeah, because I think they have to go like all the way back here and then... yeah, they still have quite a ways to go, so I think maybe if I try and go this direction somehow, to kind of get in the way of this, maybe? I don't know, it's going to push stuff away from existing towers a lot. I don't know, like how much, can I just kind of wrap all the way around like this or something? I still don't know what I assume it just prevents you from completely walling, because that would break the game, right? This seems like a good placement, actually. Maybe I should do that and save. Because again, they have to go past this part, I think like 3 times now, at least. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and do that. They're pretty fast. Alright. It's working. Still getting pretty far. Alright, we got flying enemies with 55 health. Enemies walk or enemies -5. So the big downside of this one is that you earn less money, so this seems a lot better to me. Because they're both supposed to be upsides, right? Because walking versus flying. Flying would actually walking, I don't think I could survive this if they fly, now that I think about it. Whereas if I just reduce the number of enemies, well, okay, so I got enough lives, I would survive it. But if I just reduce the number of enemies, I also earn less, so this seems like a far better choice. Okay, we got 15 gold, I just want to find out what this does. It turns orange. It's going to tell me no, right? Oh, uh-oh. Oh, crap. Oh, no. Alright, so this isn't good, so... presumably either the game breaks and like soft locks or something, or there's going to be something in place that's going to ensure that this isn't allowed to continue, which would be bad for me, I assume. But there's no way for me to know the consequences of this without trying it. So even though I've already spent all this time, I'm worried that this is just going to screw me over. And there's nothing I can do but press start. Let's set the tempo to... Yeah, they just eat him. Oh, I forgot I could have removed it afterwards. So I can pause this right now, I guess. I can actually do this. And then apparently can't build that because there's a guy right there. But I can resume briefly and then hopefully, yeah. So try to mitigate the damage. Now this guy already started. So what does that mean for him? We gotta find that out. Because normally he's supposed to go the other path, so does he go backwards? Or does he like continue up this way for some reason? No, it does go backwards, okay. Technically I got a little more on that guy, a little more damage. But it appears that I just kind of wasted a bunch of gold, or at least 10, right? I spent 10, destroyed one, got 5 back, and then spent 10 more. I already had the 5 in the bank. So I guess I spent 15 in total, and got nothing out of it. But at least we're back to where we were. I guess that's one way to learn about something. Okay, so we have Panic and Doom. Panic. I think Doom is one of the ones you can start with, which I think is the one that's you just upgraded or something. Should be good in... Maybe if I can put it right here, actually, it would be really helpful. But I really want to know what this one does because it's different. This is fleeting. I don't know what it means. I can go back if I change my mind. That's kind of nice. But I don't know. Ooh. Oh, this seems like a good idea to kind of, I could like go all the way up here. Oh yeah, this is great. But I don't know what this building does, so could be bad for all I know. Oh my gosh, this is speed 10, damage 10, but... Okay, I can convert it to a dread for 1 gold, or I could upgrade the damage, apparently. Hopefully this one actually works. I don't know if the last one just didn't work, if it was just the visual, but it didn't seem to work. But I have 10 gold, so should I just, like, dump that into this, or does this get more expensive each time we upgrade it or something? Alright, so we doubled the damage, apparently. Let's see what happens. Wait, what's the 73 health? Right. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's murdering. What did it run out of ammo or something? It just killed everything. They have 73 health, but somehow this just murdered them. Oh my gosh. Wait, what the heck? Oh, it's a dread now. Wait, what? Did I click on the wrong thing, or was that a bug? Oh my gosh. I need to like go back and look at the video. Apparently I just converted that to a dread. I thought I upgraded the damage, but I don't know. They were both like the same cost, right? So I could have just clicked on the wrong one and converted it. So that was bad. Because I lost the tower, but that's weird. But yeah, apparently I assume you just put money into it and then it kind of it kind of consumes it while doing damage. It did a massive amount of damage, but it has sort of this cost associated with it that you have to keep dumping into it, I assume. But yeah, it's gone now, so I'm not sure what happened there. I don't have enough gold. I ended up with 9 gold. Wait, what? Oh, well, okay, so this kind of makes sense because you can choose, you know, a little more dangerous or a little less gold, that kind of thing. It seems like more enemies would be the choice here. I just have to start. So I do like that we can pause it. So as soon as I can hopefully kill one of these, they have a lot of health now. I can spend the gold. Oh, they have a lot of health. Oh my gosh, they have a lot of health. But they have to go a long way now, oh my goodness. Alright. I think I want to build one right here. Like this. I could do it here in theory. I think I want to do it right here, like right up against the thing. Alright, UI is a little clunky. So this moves them away from this path, though. Oh, it gets really complicated the way it moves between each node, like each pair of nodes differently, and you get all these splitting paths and stuff. A lot more complicated to understand. Oh, I can't actually put this here, so that's good to know. But wondering if I put one here and then like put one right here. How crazy is that gonna be? It's gonna be pretty crazy, right? I think I think it's a good idea. Let's go ahead and try. Alright, they are indeed dying. So we're not in too rough spot, and there's a couple of kind of screw-ups trying to learn about the game so far, but we're not in danger of dying this time, so that's really good. We got health +5, which doesn't seem like much, considering they're already up to 109. Or gold -10. No, I want the health +5, my gosh. Blam! That's gonna be really good, I think. I think that's gonna be really good right here. Okay, and we're starting to see these situations where, you know, I haven't played tons of tower defense games, but like back in the day with the StarCraft ones, you had the walling type, or the mazing type, I think they're called, where you create these mazes where you want to kind of squeeze them to kind of go back and forth between things like this. So if I kind of go down here and then I start kind of building up this way, I think it's going to be like really effective. So yeah, I've been playing a long time. I know this video is just going on, and that's because there's just so much to talk about and so much to like wonder about with this game. Just trying to figure everything out and trying to make decisions that are really hard to make without more intimate knowledge of the game. But one of the things that I think is kind of a limiting factor of the interest of the game is the fact that I'm stuck with all of the same type of tower. And the only thing I can do with these is just build more, spreading out from them. So there were 2 occasions where I was offered a different tower, and neither case seemed to really work out well. But also the fact that I think only the dreads are the ones that you can build more of them after you have one. So even if you get like another tower that's kind of fancy and special, like it's the only one you have, even if you don't like convert it like accidentally like I did, you still only have that one. Which isn't, I mean, it's not awful or anything, but it does mean you're a little bit limited in your selection of things you can do. It's just like more and more dread building. I don't even know what would happen if I chose the other option. I've only been playing with this as the starter option so far. But this seems like a clear path. Once I get up here, I can keep moving. So yeah, it seems like I'm doing kind of the snaking sort of maze thing at this point. Seems really good. What is the dilemma? I didn't even check it before I built that. We get health plus 20 or pace all the way down to 1, which seems a lot. The health seems like a much less painful option based on kind of the ratios we're working with. So I'm going to assume that's the better choice, and then again, we just start. Let's go ahead and get some tempo going, because I'm going to be here a long time. Okay, so I think once they go here and they get up to here, we're in trouble, because then they just have a clear path to the exit. So yeah, they were getting down like around here, I think, and then dying. So it's a little close, I suppose, in that sense. Now we got flying enemies, which is probably really bad. They get 145 health. Or I can get a tower, which I think, yeah, this is the one I got last, where I can dump all the money into it. So this is obviously a value add. You just get like a free tower, and it's like a valuable one. So there's only 10 enemies, and I have 58 lives, so it seems like this would be the better choice, even if I couldn't kill anything. I'm not sure about the balance between the towers. It's something that's hard to judge, of course. Or this one takes money. You have to actually pour money into it to keep using it, even though it's like super strong. But a position like this appears to be... Whoa, what's going on with the pathing? Oh no. Okay, so I can... It's actually too bad. It removes a ton of the time they're up against this wall if I do it right here. Oh, I can just put this anywhere. I didn't even know that. I mean, I didn't even consider that. So, that's actually extremely useful to know, because I can do this kind of thing. Like, that makes a massive difference in the amount of damage I'm putting out. Just to push this path up against the towers like this. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna go on. What's gonna happen if I continue like placing this here, because this makes a big difference. It makes me wonder, like, should I try and wrap around this like that? That'd be a good idea. Kind of rein that in. It's hard for me to wrap my head around where all the paths are going to go when I start doing this stuff. But this seems like a really good choice, right? And this particular tower doesn't seem like it needs a lot of surface area. I'm assuming they're still attacking one enemy at a time and not like all around them, I think. And the total output of this, I think, depends on the gold and not kind of the surface area, so to speak. So, assuming my assumptions are correct, okay, so this would be a good choice, but then there's also like if you could get it up in here and this, where we're making this kind of knot, where guys are gonna have to go back and forth so many times, it might be good too, but I'm gonna stick with this. I think, oh, I forgot that, okay. So I forgot the other consideration. There's too many considerations for me to consider. The other thing is I was going to try to, by investing in this guy, I was going to try to see if I can kill these flying enemies. Because they're going to fly over everything, but I didn't put this in the path, so it's not going to help us. So I could have put it up here, which I think would have been a really good idea, but I don't know. The deed is done. I don't think it's worth even spending money on this because you're not going to fly over it. So let's go ahead and let them just plow into my lives here. Oh my gosh, okay. So, something I did. Alright, there's all my analysis put to work here. Oh my gosh. Alright, so another thing is, I wish I could kind of look at more information in the defeat screen to like understand what's going on. I don't know what the lives do. Clicking defeat doesn't help. I don't know what the, how the enemies interact with the lives. Like, in the first part where I took what, I had one enemy run into me and I lost 2 lives. I don't know why I lost 2 lives in that situation. You can upgrade the damage of these. I don't know what it's tied to. Like, is it the amount of health left or something? But that doesn't even make sense. If the enemies have like 100 and something health, then I should just die instantly when they run into me, right? So I have no idea. Or maybe it's like the level number. I have no idea what determines how many lives you lose from the enemies. I thought it was just one enemy is 1 life. So yeah, I don't know. We're gonna want to go for the bounty. I think. Get that extra money. Big investment. Increasing the lives, I don't know. Now I don't know how to weigh the value of lives if they appear to lose value over time. But it also means that over time, the ones you have already lose value, so you kind of need more of them. So I can't... Oh, I can't even upgrade this. And I can't build any more because I only have 10 gold, right? So... Go with the flying enemies. Now I can upgrade this. So this is weird because I can't do anything but upgrade this, I think. So I don't know how... Unless some other thing has changed in how this proceeds. Speed 2, damage 3. So again, we can't do anything. We gotta choose the dilemma. Speed or health. Wait. Oh, enemy health. Enemy speed. We're at 12. I guess the speed is better. I don't know. Again, just trying to work with the ratios. And I can't do anything else. So this is really interesting, just how much less you can do starting with this tower. Right, 15 flying. Flying isn't bad at this early in the game. Also, I can't even build towers to affect the path here. So bounty seems like the choice. We got 20 gold. We could. Right. So what is the cost here? Okay. So this is always 1. So the first upgrade doesn't matter because they have like the same value, I think, going from 1. But from here, this one's always the better value. So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and see if we can survive. I don't know if I'm going to die or not. Oh, it's close. Alright, so that was the better choice, I guess. We do the bigger damage number, and then, I mean, the decision making seems a lot more simple. Okay, so we get a new one already. So I don't know what the doubt does, and why does it say dreadful? Because the other ones are called dreads, so I don't understand that. But this guy... Oh. I don't know how you even work. How do we want to make the wall? I don't know. I don't know, like how to start with stuff like this. Like, what is a good strategy? I can't wrap my head around that. Like how do you get started with your approach to building walls, building the maze? I would like to know what this thing does, though. Again, I can put it anywhere, so that's interesting. And I can convert it to a dread, which seems potentially useful because they can spread out so much, but oh, I think you could build the dread off of this one too. You have enough money for it. It's like 25. But what does it actually do itself? I'm gonna put it there. I don't know. I can't make decisions about it. So I don't understand it. It says speed 2 and damage 2. So it's like it's gotta actually... Gotta do something, right? Oh, they're all dying before they get to it, so I can't even tell. Oh, man. Alright. Alright, we get lives or the path node damage, which... I don't know. I don't really like the fact that the lives seem to lose their value over time, because it would appear that unless you exceed a certain amount of lives, as time goes on, it doesn't matter how many you have. Either the enemies get through or they don't. So you have to kind of always exceed a certain value, which I'm assuming, I mean, that seems like a balance issue, right? Because the only way for the lives to really be very valuable as a choice, you'd have to kind of consistently choose them for one thing, I think. And, you know, you just have to have enough that it kind of stays ahead of the curve. I don't know how well that works out. And yeah, I don't know how to make that kind of decision either. Like, it seems like a ton at first, because it's like, well, 50 is a lot more than the 10 I have. And with enemies only taking 1 life at the start, I assume, it seems like a lot, but yeah, I don't really know how that scales or anything, so it's just all confusing to me. I'm gonna go with the path no damage. It's only 1, but I assume that these numbers say 1 now, so I guess they just take 1 extra damage for each time they pass one of these. So we can buff that, or we can... let's do nothing. Alright, we've got extra sound effects. potentially annoying, but not that bad. They're still not making it past this guy. Enemy health plus 15, enemy pace to 2. Let's go with the health. So I can build a dread off this, which I think is really valuable, versus converting it. Because I still want to know what it does. So this makes the pathing wacky. I don't know where to put this. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I don't know. This doesn't contribute any damage. I guess if I put it here, it would. I mean, this isn't that useful, I don't think. So maybe this is just a bad place to put this guy. I don't know. Well, this means, okay, so that this guy's getting all the damage, right? He's getting all the upgrades. So, like, every time I can force them to go back and forth over this one tower is going to be really helpful. So I think that that's a good benefit to this particular action here, because they're going to stay in range. That guy, I'm wondering, he might, I would like to know if he does, if he damages one enemy at a time or all of them within range, because that would also be really valuable to know, because if it's all of them, then it's going to be really powerful, of course. But yeah, having this guy in play means I can start walling and stuff, so that adds a lot more to the decision making again. Now we have 3 different types of towers. I still don't know what this does, though. Maybe it slows enemies. That's what I was... Wait. Holy... Okay, so I clicked pause and it didn't work, as you might have noticed. So that was kind of... Wait. Oh no, I chose an option. I wanted to go into the tempo and change that, but I chose one of the dilemma actions. I think I clicked on pace. Looks like they're down to 2 pace. So that was kind of unfortunate that I clicked on that, but yeah, I wanted to pause that to slow it down, and the pause didn't work. We got 15 gold. So, okay, so now this is a lot more interesting because I actually have like more choices, right? Before I was just building tons of these. Now that I have one of these guys, there's like a big choice between whether to upgrade you or to try to do walling. Oh yeah, that you can't build there, of course. You build here, so this would just add some damage. So maybe this wasn't a good place to put this guy in the long term, because I have to like... I don't know. I guess I want to like try and build around this guy to try and make the path around the Ichi or the Doom as long as possible or whatever. But yeah, I have to choose between building more of these and upgrading this, which is an interesting choice to make. And that's hard to judge again, but I guess that's part of the fun of it in some sense. Wow. Okay, so now it paused. And now it won't resume. Okay, so I think I'm gonna soft lock the game here. That seems to be the case. So that's too bad. But I have been playing a long time. So I still have questions, of course. There's just so much that's just confusing and just not enough information to go off of. So yeah, that would be the big recommendation. Hopefully you could, watching this, you could get a big list of stuff that, I mean, this is what I would hope you would do. Get a big list of stuff that needs to be taught to the player so that they can understand the game, and then, work on a way to do that, because that will, allow the player to enjoy the game properly without just bumbling about for multiple hours trying to understand things through trial and error, which isn't much fun in my opinion, especially when in a game like this where you're kind of investing a lot. Like as long as you play, you keep making choices and you're kind of invested in that run, right? If you're going to play for an hour or something and all in one run and then you make some stupid decision and you die because you didn't understand how it works, then it's, that's a lot you've invested into something you just screwed up just to make, just to get a lesson about how the game works. Versus, just telling the player that before they start playing or something, or as they're playing even. But yeah, hopefully this video is useful. I think it was like super long. Let me check how long this is. Oh yeah, we're going on 2 hours. But there's just so much to get into with the game, actually. So yeah, I mean, this is nice because there's just a lot more to the game now, which I think is a combination of, added features, but also just stuff that last time I tried, like I just kind of didn't get past to see more of the concept. So I'm kind of glad that I got to see so much more of the vision of it, I suppose, and it's a lot more interesting now. So it's definitely pretty cool. Hopefully this was useful to you, and please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.